So what's next for ODM? The party leader and the leading founder of this party passed away, and he was buried last week. And then we've just started seeing it's something like the scramble for ODM. Today, the Central Committee of this party, that's a top organ of the party, is meeting, and they'll be discussing the next steps for the party. One of the three deputy party leaders, Abdullswamad Nassir, the governor of Mombasa County, is our guest. We remember during the burial of Raila Odinga in Kangoka, Jaramogi, the leadership of ODM spoke, and they were saying different things. We heard from the other deputy party leader, Simbarati, speaking one thing. The other deputy party leader, Osotsi, saying something different. The party chairperson, Gladys Wanga, saying something else. We heard the Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, saying something. One of the founders of the party, who is now the leader of UDA, but is interested in collaborating with this party, William Ruto, saying something. And then Abdullswamad himself said something. Let's just listen to these leaders as we get into this conversation with the governor.
Baba amelala, baba aenda salama. Lakini jua kwamba papa wameamka sasa. Wamesema kwamba kulala kwako chama cha ODM kitalala. Nataka nihakikishie umati huu. Chama cha ODM sasa ndio tumeanza mapambano.
Baba Raila Amolo Odinga alikaa pale hoteli ya Serena the whole of afternoon mpaka late in the evening, na alikuwa na summon watu, anawaita, anawaongelesha. Mimi am lucky I was one of the people. Nikiwa kule Senate, baba akaniita, nikakaa na yeye pale Serena, na hiyo siku baba was in high spirit na alifungua roho mambo yake.
This is not the time to push divisive narratives in ODM. This is not the time. Na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala. Alisema yeye mwenyewe. Akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027. Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, baba alisema, who has told you? Who has told you? Who has told you? Kwa hivyo, sisi tutafuata the last standing instruction ya baba. I as Sifuna will do everything in my power to keep this party united and together. Even in the face of open provocation, Baba, you know what I am talking about. You know.
The last instruction he left us with, and with a very clear mind. And I remember him speaking at the burial of the late Dr. Phoebe Asio, and he said he made a clear decision to work with you for the stability and unity of the nation inside the broad-based government. That is the last standing instruction that Baba gave us. And as a people and as a party, that is where we will stand.
ODM will either form the next government or be part of the next government. Ile kitu siwezi kukubali. Na nitafanya juu chini, Mungu anisaidie. Ni wale ambao wanataka kungoa chama ya ODM na kwenda kuchezea karata ya upinzani kule nje. Hiyo haitawezekana.
Mwaka 2027 we will not be in the opposition. Mambo mawili yatafanyika. Agosti tunapiga kura. September we are either in government or we are government.
Deputy Party Leader amesema mambo ni mangapi?
Mawili.
Mambo ni mawili.
Two things.
He's here. Governor, good morning.
Asante sana. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. We're getting into this conversation immediately right now, but first, we like to do something. We welcome our guests with a day's quote. It's usually Janet giving us the quote. Janet left that, very, very important task with Mariam.
Right.
Today's quote, Mariam.
Right. So I'll share the quote with you. You can tell me what it says to you, what it speaks to you. It's by Wangari Maathai, and she was speaking at a lecture at Yale University in 2004. She was reflecting on Kenya's environmental and political wounds, and she said, "You can't heal what you refuse to confront. You can't heal what you refuse to confront." What does that speak to you, Governor?
I think what it basically means is that you need to be able to be in acceptance for you to be able to make any changes that you want to be able to do. Nothing else, nothing more.
Yeah, acceptance is step one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Be in
I like
acceptance
that.
of where you are. You can never be able to know where you're going until you know where you're coming from.
Kubali.
Yeah.
Kubali.
Kubali matokeo.
As we stand right now, what's the position of ODM? Is ODM staying, as we're being told, Baba's last wish was that ODM stays in broad-based and supports this government into the next election, or is ODM not in broad-based and preparing for the next election?
You know, I'm sure everyone's ideological belief, religious belief is different. But for those who believe that Baba is looking down, I'm sure he's actually smiling. The name itself, Agwambo, means mysterious. You know, something that you cannot be able to narrate. You cannot be able to think what was next. What we're in right now is something more of a jigsaw puzzle, and every single person has a piece. What's going to happen is, for the one who decides not to be able to use a lot of calmness and use their brain, the jigsaw puzzle looks like a lot of pieces that cannot be able to be put together. But in actual fact, when put together, they turn into something that is going to be magnificent. Whatever everyone said, no one is in denial. One of the first bites that you put up was where Simba said, people are going to try and hope that we're going to be divided. There's no doubt about it. I mean, people are actually thinking, people are actually praying that is what's going to happen. I'm looking at the papers today. The headline is Raila Party in crisis meeting. Who said it was a crisis? I have no idea where the word crisis came from. Who said we're in a crisis? This is a lot of
we're even
external
on our
forces.
Screen. It's the battle for ODM's soul.
Right.
And we
I
saw
can
it,
see that.
Governor.
I can see that.
We saw it when the leadership of the party, the interim party leader spoke during the funeral. The three deputy party leaders spoke. The chair of the party, the secretary general of the party, and none of you seem to be agreeing whether this party is preparing to field a candidate in 2027.
Right.
Let me rephrase what Baba exactly said.
Okay.
Baba said we have an agreement with the government to work with until 2027. And then he used the words, don't commit before having discussed. He never went ahead and said that we are already saying that we're going to have a candidate in 2027. He said, who told you we will not have a candidate? Why go and commit the party? Why go and talk about the party prior to us having discussed this? And that's the reason why, as a party, we have structures. But as it stands right now, the ODM party is firmly in the broad-based. We have an agenda for us to be able, and let me just explain what the agenda of today's meeting is going to be. It is no longer an issue about whether Oburu should be there or not. That has already been passed. Oburu currently is the acting party leader. The agenda that the party has right now is we have by-elections that are upcoming by the end of November. The agenda that is going to be there is we have ODM at 20, and a decision has been made that we're not going to just have ODM at 20, but we're going to celebrate ODM at 20 and Raila at 80. The other discussion that we need to start talking about, which is equally, it's the one thing that is going to shape the narrative. We had a 10-point agenda that was signed between us and UDA at KICC, and what we had agreed then in the previous meetings, chaired by Baba himself, was that there was going to be a team. And there was a team that was put into place, a team of technocrats to sit down with a team of technocrats from the other side for them to be able to now let us know where have they been able to reach on those 10-point agendas? So we don't even look at it as a political narrative, but actually as a practical solution to the issues that we actually raised in the 10-point agenda. So those are the three major issues. And if we're going to accept sideshows that are we in a crisis, are we not in a crisis, are we in a leadership crisis, are we in a crisis for you know, who is going to be at the mantle or anything else, there's going to be bigger things for us to be able to lose. And right now, we need to be able to make sure that our eyes are exactly where they're supposed to be. We have by-elections coming up. I was in Kilifi even before the death of Baba. I was in Kasipul. My colleagues were all over the place as well. Everyone. Even those who you say that we have different opinions and everything else, we were all at Kasipul together. And we all agreed that we need to be able to get this sorted out. Even after the death of Baba, I was in Kilifi when was it? Yesterday, having a conversation with, the day before yesterday, having a conversation with the governor of Kilifi on strategies for ensuring that we capture the Magarini by-election. This is what is right now in front of us.
Is it the only thing that's in front of you? Because I'll be honest, you can see the factions, I'm using that word loosely, very clear, and they're broken on interest. Those who are in broad-based, or who it serves to be in broad-based,
those
are very
who are
much,
enjoying the benefits.
yes, those who are enjoying the benefits are very much like, you know what, yes, Baba said we are in this government until 2027. Who knows about a candidate in 2027? Those who are outside and are not enjoying the benefits are very much like, no, we are the opposition, the official opposition party, or we are in the opposition and we will continue to do so.
Are we going to deny the fact that we actually have signed a document?
No, we're not.
Okay. Are we going to deny the fact that we're not saying that criticism should not be there? I mean, criticism is healthy, and these levels of criticism and different script saying have been there from before. It's not the first time. They've been there from before, even when Baba was there. What else is exactly new? And I think it's going to be unfair. It's an unfair statement to say that there are those who are actually benefiting from the broad-based. I want to give you an example.
Okay.
If you say that there are those who are outside, I, for one, have been very, very clear that as a party, we signed something. There's nothing more important than people to honor their word. If we signed a document, and maybe just to take you back, how did we even get to be in the broad-based? And why a decision was made for us to be in broad-based? When the country was in a crisis, I mean, no one is going to be in denial that the country was in a crisis. When all this was happening, Baba did not make a dictatorial statement. He literally, and I remember this is one of the few times that he actually went around different counties and met party delegates alone.
True.
Ideally, when he was in the coast, he would move around with probably me. Ideally, when he was in Nyanza, he would move around with the senior leadership of Nyanza. This time round, he went alone. He randomly picked sample counties for him to hear them out, what they were saying. A majority of, and when he explained that should we let this country burn, or should we be able to do something until the year 2027, majority of those who were actually feeling a certain way told him, no, we need, after having been told, they said, we need to be able to do something, salvage the situation. This country, we had the army was patrolling right outside your streets.
Yep.
If you opened and you walked out Nation Center, there was the army patrolling here. You're not going to be in denial about that as well.
No, no.
And when Baba sat down with us as the Central Committee, that was one of the longest meetings that we ever had. we made a resolution, I think it was about 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. We were all there. Every single one of us was there. All the ones that you've just talked about, you've played their sound bits, every one of them was there. And all of us agreed unanimously that yes, let us get into the broad-based agreement. What we can be able, the only thing that is going to be able to say that, all right, then we signed something, but the document that we'd signed has not been acted upon. That becomes a basis for us to have a different conversation. But as long as we've appended our signatures, as long as the Central Committee has sat down, as long as the party leadership made a decision that is the way we need to go. If we are to reverse that, then it has to be along the same lines.
So it has to go back to the Central Committee.
It has to go back to the Central Committee. We need to sit down and say that, okay, this 10-point agenda has not worked. If it has not worked for us, this is the direction that we need to be able to go. The statement that I was able to make, and again, in same words, different narratives. Baba said, who told you that we're not going to be able to fill a candidate? Do not commit on the party until you have discussed it. The word that he used is until you have discussed this. That means we go back to the drawing board. And I said it exactly that. The two things are going to happen. We are either going to form the government. By saying we're either going to form the government is we will definitely need to have a candidate.
A winning candidate.
A winning one.
Exactly. There's no political party in the world that gets formed for the purposes of being in the opposition.
So you'll either have a candidate that wins the election and therefore you form government.
Yes.
Or if that's not the case, then you'll have to have entered into an agreement with those that are in government.
Well, in those that would be able to form government.
Okay.
And we form government together.
As we get into that, I'd like to start from this point.
Okay.
What is, when we say that ODM is in broad-based government, what is it? Is ODM in a coalition with Kenya Kwanza?
We actually do not have a coalition. We do not have.
What is it?
We do not have a coalition agreement. We never signed a coalition agreement. We never signed anything else. We signed exactly that. We're in a broad-based situation where at a time for crisis, they just say that, all right, let's get every single person on board instead of having views where everyone is speaking at the same time. Let us speak. You know, a classic example that was used, you can have one of the best orchestras. But if the violinist decides to play a different tone from the pianist, if the bass player decides to play something different, if someone decides to play Belafonte and then another person decides to play Calligraph Jones at the same time, you're not going to have music. You're going to have noise.
Yeah.
It can all be music when each and every one plays the chord the way it is actually meant to be.
So what is it that you have with the Kenya Kwanza?
We have an agreement that, look, there are 10 issues that we feel are affecting Kenyans. We lined them up. We sat down.
And said, let's implement these issues.
Exactly.
So you're not in partnership with the government.
We don't have a partnership.
You are
And
not in a
actually,
coalition with
like a statement that was said that those who are enjoying the benefits of broad-based. I'm the governor of Mombasa, right?
Yeah.
There's equitable share that needs to be able to be put into Mombasa. It's constitutional right. The governor of Homa Bay is the governor. There's equitable share that is passed by the Senate and the National Assembly of what needs to be able to go to Homa Bay. What extra,
the governor
what extra
even
benefits?
the governor of Homa Bay and other governors have said
we are
in broad-based.
Exactly.
And the closer we are, the better for us.
But
in terms of, it's not, equitable share will not change, but, you know, a development project here or there, of course,
but
will
let me
come
tell
your
you,
way.
let me tell you, this is what exactly what we're saying. There's no political party that gets formed just for purposes of being in the opposition.
I have a question. Sorry, I know, Eric, you have so many. Yes, and we're taking a break. Yeah, time. So, maswali ni mengi. We're with of course, the governor of Mombasa, and he's also the ODM deputy party leader, Abdullswamad Nassir. We'll be right back after this. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV.
We continue our conversation with the governor of Mombasa County, Abdullswamad Sharif Nassir. He's one of the deputy party leaders of ODM. The acting party leader, Dr. Oburu Oginga, is chairing a central committee meeting soon after this, right? Today, to discuss...
Yeah, we're going to be in the news probably at 1 o'clock. You guys are all going to be there. There's going to be scavengers hoping that we are going to be disintegrating. There's going to be a lot of issues that are going to be there. I mean, but I'll tell you one thing. When you're talked about, that means you matter. When you're talked about, that means you matter. I love the fact that I look at the papers. In one of the papers, the word ODM has appeared in probably 40% of the pages. Page 1, page 2, page 4, page... this is what? Page, I think this is page 6, page 7. And you go on and on and on. The fact remains, you know, I mean, there's so many political parties out there who wish to even get a sentence. But the fact that you're talked about means that there are people out there. It means that we have followers. And what that means for us, those who are in leadership, what it means is that we need to make sure we don't let down the followers of ODM. We're a social democracy that believes in people first. We put people first when we decided to get into the broad-based arrangement. And this was a decision that had to be made at that particular time. And when we sat down and we came up with a 10-point agenda, the agenda, usually how the constitution of the party works, is the agenda is set by the party leader when the central committee is called. I am of the belief that today the party leader, the acting party leader, will be calling for a meeting, and the agenda will be actually to talk about, one, we have by-elections coming up. Let us not lose focus on those particular by-elections. 2, we have ODM at 20, which a number of us have agreed that instead of just calling it ODM at 20, we're going to call it ODM at 20 and Baba at 80. 3, we have the 10-point agenda. We need to be able to set the tone right. When are we going to be able to get this? That is going to form a narrative and a basis moving forward. What is the direction? And of course, I think it is only fair for party leadership and the party structures to say thank you to government. I'm just trying to imagine, and this is not just me alone. You know, I said this in my remarks at the burial of Baba. I was talking to Mama Ida, and we were looking at the crowds at Kisumu, and we were asking, can you imagine if government did not come through for this burial? How are we going to handle these crowds? And I remarked to her, and I told Mama, what if all the ODM governors decided to bring in the Kanjo, the inspectorate, and every one of us took our inspectorate and did what needed to be done in that period of 72 hours till Baba's burial. And even the other governors who were not ODM but were ODM friendly or Baba friendly decided to do that, we still would not have been able to get this burial done.
That's fair. You've spoken about ODM being a social democracy, which brings me to my question just before we went to the break. Yeah, what are the core values of ODM?
People first.
People first. You say, you know what, we've put people first. That's how we ended up in this broad-based arrangement. But then you've also said, you know what, in 2027, we either field a president, a candidate that becomes president, right? Or we form government with whoever forms government at the time. That isn't people first, that's self-serving first.
No.
It's either you've predicted a crisis that would require another broad-based, or you are just 100% sure that whatever scenario happens,
has ODM not previously ended up in, has ODM, is this going to be the first time that we sign a pre-election coalition agreement?
No, it'll be maybe the third, fourth.
Exactly. But at any given time, did we ever hope that we're just going to be in the opposition?
I don't know about hoping, but I know that if you
Your
are indeed a
expectation was
democracy,
that you were going to win.
Yeah.
Not
If
our
indeed you are a
expectations,
democracy-
not just our expectations of me as an individual or the individuals that we're going to meet today. The expectations of millions of Kenyans and the truth out there that we did not lose these elections. Someone looked at the enthusiasm from Kenyans and everything else during the burial of Baba, and someone actually made a comment on social media, and I looked at it and I said, you know, it's so sad that this is what it took for some people to actually realize. Someone actually said that maybe what Baba said and what ODM said, that we never lost these elections, is the truth.
Let me leave the losing out, because then we get into, we cannot honestly interrogate unless we go, open servers and start saying this election was lost, this one was not. But the way a democracy works is whoever is in power does their job, and whoever wanted power keeps the other person in check. They are the opposition.
Right.
It's not that they wanted to be the opposition,
right.
It's that they found themselves there, and their work in a democracy now is to keep the government of the day in check. So then how do you say ODM is a social democracy when you're already planning for being in government, even in the eventuality that you don't have a presidential candidate that wins? That means that it's more about being in government than it is about serving people.
It's about, there's no political party. Let me get this very, very clear. There's no political party, forget about Kenya, in the world that is actually formed for purposes of being in the opposition.
True.
If that was the case, then none of us would be even campaigning. None of us would be talking about what our manifesto is. None of us would be saying that this is the direction that we want to be able to take. Is it selfish for us to say that we're either going to be government or we're going to be part of government? We're not being selfish. We have people that we represent. We have people, and when you're in government, then the voices of those people are not just talked about. The essence of democracy is that the majority have their way, but the minority have their say. Why can't we be the ones who equally as well have our way and have our way in government?
So you're saying
by
in
being
this
the
particular
ones
case,
who
the
are going to be
minority will
able
also have their way.
Exactly.
Then
You know,
that's not
and isn't it high
a
time as well
democracy.
for someone else to be
opposition.
having, yeah. And I'm praying and I'm hoping that those who are going to take our place in the opposition do not have it the same way that we had it.
Governor.
Full of tear gas and full of being shot at and everything else.
Governor.
We
Governor.
want an opposition as well who's going to be treated with a lot of...
Kenya, which is now PLP, the former Wiper, which is now Wiper Liberation Front, have been in opposition. It's not that ODM has been the only opposition party.
True.
There have been others, in fact, that you've collaborated with as you go into an election that have ended up being the minority.
Right.
Or not the ones that are forming the government. Here you're saying that you want to either form government, and should it happen in the unforeseen circumstance, because you'll not be foreseeing it, that you lose that election, you do not want to take the role of keeping the ones that in government in check.
I never said that.
You want to prostrate yourselves
I
to
said,
the winner.
In an election, three possibilities are going to happen. And if there's going to be a fourth one, then I'm waiting to hear it. The first possibility is you have a candidate and you win an election. The second possibility is you actually make a decision that we're signing a pre-election coalition. We're talking not about mergers. Let us get this very, very clear. A merger is when you actually end up dissolving one or the other is ended up being a lesser. There's a pre-election coalition where you all maintain your values, but at the end of the point, your values meet at a certain level, and you now say that, okay, let's get into this election together. The third option is being in the opposition. Now, all I said is, I don't have an intention. And it'll be, I'll be a hypocrite if I say that ODM is intending to be able to be in the opposition forever. Who said that the Orange Democratic Party necessarily has to be the party that every single time. And by the way, you want to know the strength of a political party? You mentioned political parties right now. You talked about political parties right now.
Yeah.
Look at parties that were formed. Please tell me, has anyone talked about the likes of Kanu, the way they've talked about ODM, and they had a president? Has anyone talked about DP, the way anyone has talked about ODM, and they had a president? Has anyone talked about PNU, TNA? You know,
So
if I was to ask you right now, you know, probably Eric and Mariam, you,
people talked about Kanu very much. When Mwai Kibaki was leading DP and not PNU, people talked about DP a lot.
Right.
When he joined PNU, people talked about PNU a lot.
Right.
As president. Okay? We're talking about now Baba and ODM. The taste of this pudding is right now. Baba is gone.
Let me get this
today's
straight.
meeting and towards the end of the year, how much are people going to be talking about ODM? Is ODM going to remain as one united party?
Oh, yes.
Is ODM going to have these splinter groups that we've seen? That were there, Edwin Sifuna and Godfrey Osotsi and the governor of Siaya, your colleague and as the deputy party leader, are saying something that appears to be different from what you and the chairperson Gladys Wanga and the leader of your party in parliament, Junaid Mohammed, are saying. You are clearly, to everybody who has eyes and ears, speaking, reading one paper but different pages of that paper.
Can I equally say something else? You guys are asking us to be a boring party. We're vibrant. We're democratic.
So this is democracy at play.
Of course. I mean, these words were not even there before, after Baba passed away. You're only magnifying them.
So then...
And the way you're magnifying them is with a very, very unfair... You're not even using a magnifying glass. You're using actually, you know...
something bigger.
Yeah,
a telescope.
You're literally looking at us, you know. You've dissected this party so deeply that you're no longer looking at you know, our external structure. You're now looking at our molecular structure.
Okay. Let me then fault not the vibrancy of your democracy, which is having, you know, different views. That's democracy. Let me not fault that. I'm shifting back to my initial fault, which was like the Orange Democratic Movement is a social democracy. Representing the people requires you to play the role in which, you know, you are. When you are in government, you represent, you execute, you do all these things, you legislate. That's okay.
Hold on, Mariam. Are you trying to say that the fact that are you trying to say that the fact that we're a social democracy, then we just have been born, raised, and bred in such a way that we just have to be in the opposition?
No.
Surely,
that's not what I'm saying. Let me finish.
Does it mean that everyone who's in orange deserves the tear gas and the pink water?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Governor. I am saying the role in which you play after an election.
Right.
Meaning the winner gets to form the executive, to legislate, or, you know, in part, and to do this and that, right? And whoever is the next biggest majority then becomes the opposition.
True.
And like I said before, their job is to keep the government of the day in check. That is democracy at play. So when you call yourself the Orange Democratic Movement, you are ready to play the role of being co-opted into whichever new government forms, even before it forms.
Let's first rewind after the elections, when we felt that things were not going okay, and we accepted but never agreed. We were not necessarily in agreement with the Supreme Court ruling. But ODM being ODM, Baba being Baba, and the leadership of ODM being the leadership of ODM, we said, you know what? Let's accept it for what it is. However, for future. In fact, in one of Baba's speeches that you'll be hearing, he said, I might not be on the ballot, but unless you're going to have electoral reforms, you will never be able to get the right leadership that Kenyans want for this country. And I wish these are the kind of words that you can be able to put up. You will never be able to get. And what Baba said at that time, it was not for the purposes. We went to the streets, by the way. We had a reason for going to the streets. We went to the streets to talk about electoral reforms. Electoral reforms that were not going to reverse the decisions of that election. We had been in acceptance. Yeah. But for purposes of tomorrow. And you know, in probably in others who would actually call it the prophetic statement that I might not be on the ballot, I might not be there, but whoever is going to be at that particular time is going to face the same issues that I am facing right now. So what did we talk about? We went to the streets and we talked about we need electoral reforms. We went to the streets and talked about, you know what, something has to be able to be done on these matters. Then what ended up happening? Let's have a NADCO team. Let's have a conversation. In fact, the view of Baba at that time was that there was a need for this to be a national conversation. People to talk at county level, at ward level. What is it that what is the vision that they would wish for a Kenya to be able to be done? Eventually, some of the issues that people had raised was going to mean that there was going to be a constitutional amendment, which would have meant that the country was going to be ready for a referendum. Fast forward, after all this happened, then we had a revolt going on in this country. The young people, you know, felt that this is not the direction. What is happening in this country? The army was going to go on the streets. First, it had not been even approved by Parliament. Parliament quickly approved for the army to be there. And when we sat down and we said, you know what, there is no military that has ever taken over a country in Africa and returned it to civilian rule. And when it returned to civilian rule, the guys who were there were the military rulers who were actually there. And at that point, Baba said, gentlemen and ladies, maybe it's time for us to take that seat that might not be populist. And by the way, some of those people, you know, I'm not going to start a whole new conversation.
Some of your members.
No, not our members. Some of the people who are currently calling themselves opposition at that time when they were in government literally reached out and were praying for ODM to join and make sure that this country goes into turmoil.
Oh, they were telling ODM, don't join the government.
They were actually telling us that to fuel the fire,
to join the demonstrations,
to make sure that heat is going to be felt from every other part. The people out there who really, really do not have this country at heart. The truth is going to come out. One day, it's going to come out. They're you're going to be told that this person called this person, asked them for us to be able to have a meeting with Baba, for Baba to be in acceptance, that let this country be able to burn in every single angle, while Nairobi is doing this, let the coast also happen in this way, Nyanza happened this way. You know, this guy who's in power is a very, very bad man. We're in government, but you know, we really... And then when they realize that that is not happening, when they realize that we will not be able to put self-interest before government, is when now they decided to be the Kensaro weavers and the champions of democracy and everything.
When they saw that you're not doing the job of the opposition,
no,
they became the opposition.
When they saw that we're not going to make this country burn.
I get your point, and Baba explained it many times. Still, people didn't understand, but maybe posthumously, people have started to see what maybe he meant. But I want to go back into this thing that you actually said. There are actually three things that you've said. Mambo ni matatu.
Yeah.
Either ODM
for us, it's going to be two. It's not going to be three. The third one, we're going to leave it to others.
Okay. Mambo ni matatu that can come out of an election.
Right.
ODM will have a candidate, and this candidate goes ahead to win and become president. ODM may have a candidate that this candidate does not win and not form government, so become an opposition party.
Right.
Or ODM may or may not have a candidate, have a pre-election coalition with somebody, or a post-election coalition with somebody. It sounds to me that your preferred route is Number 3, pre-election or post-election coalition.
No, I actually said 2. And I said 2. The first
Yeah.
one was that, you know, we might be the ones in
To
government
win, yeah.
to win. And
Or-
to be in part of government.
Okay.
The third option, Eric, and I'm hoping that by 2027 September, you'll be calling some of these guys here and telling them, you know, gentlemen, you know, just be in acceptance. This is life and everything else.
The third option is
Balini-
being the opposition.
Yeah, we're not going to be in the.
And you
We
don't
were
want-
not.
That's why I'm
born.
saying it sounds to me that your preferred safest option is getting into a coalition either before an election or after an election that ensures that you have a government.
I
that you
never
are in
said
government.
that. You said that.
I'm saying that's my interpretation of what you're
No,
saying.
no. Actually, the words you used was that it seems like that's what you're saying. It doesn't seem like that's what I'm saying. I said that we have 2 options, and I'm not going to be apologetic about it because that is what democracy is all about.
Of a post-election coalition, where you have gone into an election as ODM, you have not won that election,
Right.
and then you form a post-election coalition with the winners,
Right.
Okay. If that is how the ODM is approaching the election,
Yeah.
why should anybody vote for ODM anyway?
Anyway.
We've
Just go for either go for Kenya Kwanza, go for United
no.
Opposition.
We've
Yeah.
never
or go
talked
for
about.
Maraga,
We've never talked
so
about a
that-
post-election
because
coalition.
either way, what I'm hearing from the deputy party leader of ODM
Yeah.
is whoever forms the next government, ODM will be willing
Yeah.
to have a conversation with them.
No.
to be part of
And
government.
you know, we're fixing the nation. Let's fix words as well. Let me say what exactly I said. We're not talking about post-election coalitions.
Pre.
We're talking about pre. Pre means before.
Okay.
Post means after. Kwa lugha ya Kiswahili hatusemi ya kuwa tutaingia katika serikali baada ya uchaguzi. You know, we are going to form government, or we're going to be part of government, and that means we're going to have this conversation prior to the elections. We're not going to have these conversations after the elections. After the elections means that you're already in the opposition, and I've said it. The third, which is being in the opposition, for us, surely should not be an option. And by the way, it should not be an option. It should not be an option for
I completely
any.
understand you.
It should not be an option for any serious political party
To be in the opposition.
to be in the opposition. You know how many political parties are in Kenya?
We're going into a break. Nimekuelewa. You are going to have a pre-election agreement.
I said
with-
that's one of the options. Well, we
with
might
the
decide to
intention of
have,
forming government.
you know.
Now, because you are not
Since
having
we're going to be on the break,
Hold on. Because you're not having a conversation with David Maraga, with Okiya Mtata, with Dr. Ruben Kigame, or with the United Opposition, but you are in some arrangement with Kenya Kwanza, then it is safe to assume that the pre-election coalition that ODM is likely to form is with Kenya Kwanza. Let's go into a break.
I want to
It
give a
is 3
quote.
minutes to
Assumption
8.
is the mother of all evil.
And here is a clear assumption coming from exactly what we've heard from the deputy party leader. We'll be back shortly. Abdullswamad Sharif Nassir is the deputy party leader of ODM. Back in a moment. We continue our conversation with Abdullswamad Sharif Nassir, one of the deputy party leaders of ODM. The Central Committee of the party is set to meet today, where he tells us they are going to discuss 3 things. One is discuss preparations for the by-elections and how they're doing. The other thing that you're discussing is reviewing the 10-point agenda that was signed between the party leader of ODM then and the party leader of UDA, and you know how far those ones have gone. And also then looking at the new leadership of the party with Oburu Oginga as your interim party leader, and also looking what the party goes ahead to say. Let's look at some of the comments that are on our social media feed. Our fixers are asking very many things here. Joe says, ODM was and is synonymous with Raila. Ask the government to make his case in 3 uninterrupted minutes without invoking the name of Raila or Baba. Rosemary Mwangi says, ODM will be swallowed by UDA. Then there's Rosemary again says, can you read out the 10 points and tell us what has been achieved point by point? And I think you'd even mentioned that many of these still remain unachieved. We talked about this 10-point agenda many times, even going by them point by point.
Right.
Aaron says, I don't know why Mariam's question is so hard to answer. If ODM does not plan to join government if it loses, when they attempt the opposition role, for some reason, chaos and mayhem happens.
I didn't get that, but
and
okay.
then, yeah, last one, as we get into questions of human rights, what pains me is the governor working with goons to silence human rights critics. Let him deny. That's Ask Jeremy. And I know this is regarding the allegations of the abduction and sodomy of a Mombasa-based blogger, Bruce John. That happened. I know you've denied it before, any involvement in it. Let's just get it clear out in the air, because I think those allegations still abound.
Through my life as the governor, even before I became governor, I've been criticized so many times. It's part of life. You wake up in the morning, you see all levels of criticism. Many people ask me, why are you not even on WhatsApp? Why is your phone not even on social media? But I prefer not seeing, because in that way you don't even have to start saying who is who and who is who. Prior to, I mean, I'm just giving a snapshot of the level of things that people can actually say. Prior to even the elections, I had someone come up, and you know, the funny part is you got people who even go ahead and cheer it out, who called my mother so many names, that my father is not even my father, that I'm actually the son of someone else and everything else. And the person was living in Mombasa. The person was arrested. I never did anything. Then when you hear things that people are talking such, the only thing that actually happens is the young boy was not actually a critic of Mombasa, of the county. Only thing is he talked a lot about my mother. You know, when your mother is called all sorts of things. I took myself to the DCI. I made it very, very clear. I would be the last person. For those who know me, I was more than willing for them to trace all those numbers that were called or anything else, and nothing. The beauty of it all is some of our lives are well documented, especially when you have events and everything. When all these things were being said, that this is what happened, and it was so well documented where I was at what particular time. The time that it was said that I was actually, you know, the one who made calls or anything, it was nothing further from the truth. Do I feel for the young man? I truly do, because I know him. I know him as an individual. I know him prior to the elections. I know him after. I know what I have done for him. I don't want to talk about it, you know, because I don't necessarily have to say what it is that I did even before all these things happened. Do I truly feel bad about whatever it is that happened? I truly do. But did it have anything to do with me or my family? Not at all.
Could it have been people thinking that they're acting on your behest? Because he says he was asked to apologize about the said comments about your mom. So could it have been people thinking that they're acting on your behest?
I don't think so. And the reason why I'm saying this is sometimes social media, the things that people talk about, you can have a lot of enemies. You end up creating so many enemies on different. And if anyone felt that they're doing this because of purposes of trying to protect the image of who my mother is and who my mother is to me,
Mm-hmm.
They never had anyone's blessings. But I think all said and done is I took myself to the DCI. They asked to see whatever it is that they wanted to see. My phone, everything, whatever it is, you know, I was more than willing. I had a whole country, literally, on my case without even listening to my side. I had a whole country on the case against my family. And the only ones are those who were actually from Mombasa who knew what our values are. I have never been involved in any level of violence. I'm the kind of person who's even told that, you know, sometimes I'm too soft even when the way I speak. If someone accuses me, if someone does anything to me, I'd still look at you and smile. It's just who I am.
Thank you, Drew, for responding to that and for having your moment as well to speak about it here publicly, because it's a question that has been asked and you needed to answer it. Coming back into the ODM conversation, your leadership of the party is meeting today, and you've given us the agenda. And as we're going into the break, you know, you said ODM must be in government in the next government, whatever the case. Where is Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General, in all this? And I'm asking that because Amara Talia says, sorry, Sifuna, you seem to be the only man standing alone. ODM is finished.
Well, I don't know who said that, but I mean, I respect their view. But again, as a politician, never ever speak on behalf of someone else. Never ever speak on behalf of someone else. But what I can tell you is that when decisions are made, they're made collectively. Because the next thing you're going to ask me is, where is Gladys on this?
Yeah.
Where is,
Junet
on this? Where is Osotsi on this? I mean, everyone has their own voice. And that's the reason why when we have Central Committee meetings, they're closed-door meetings. They're meetings that are held internally. We digest on matters, meetings that take a couple of hours for us to be able to thrash out everything. And whenever we finish, we always read from the same script. And I don't expect today to be different as well.
It'll come out the same way.
I'm confident that today we are going to be coming out from that meeting with one voice. And the voice is going to be, and like I said, we have a bigger agenda at hand. What is most pressing currently, in about a month, we're going to have by-elections in this country. Let's never ever forget that. There are 3 parliamentary seats that we have our candidates in. The Magarini, the Ugunja, and the Kasipul. Let us not forget, it's not even about winning those by-elections. It's about winning those by-elections with large margins. Because what ends up happening is we then make our point be felt. We make our point be felt totally.
That ODM is a force to reckon.
Is actually a force to be able to reckon with. And that, as a party, we've not died. A second thing that we need to be able to talk about, I mean, now that Mzee is no longer with us, one of his last wishes was that we need to have something big. For in his own wisdom, many counties bid. You know, the way the World Cup, you have people bidding that it should be. Mombasa is one of the counties that bid. And in Mzee's own wisdom, he said that, yes, I think Mombasa is ideal to be able to hold the ODM at 20. So one of the things that we need to be able to start talking about is, if it's ODM at 20, let us now talk about ODM at 20 and Baba at 80. The third thing we need to talk about is exactly what you're talking about, you know, the straw that is there, the 10-point agenda. And I had one of the listeners or the viewers actually, saying that, can you read out the 10-point agenda and tell us which is the one that has been done?
Yeah.
It is for that reason, so it does not become a political interpretation of what has been done and what has not been done, that the party made a decision. And the decision that was done in a very, very wise way. This is a decision that was done from the time Baba was alive. Names were put into place, and we said, these are the people that are going to be our conduit for us and those who are in UDA. And the UDA team chose their teams as well. So we're not going to be calling in our teams. It is now the party leader, the current party leader, to say that this is the day we're going to have to call this team to brief us. So if you're going to ask me right now, out of the 10, what has already been
achieved,
I'll be giving you a statement that is going to be very, very...
It's not backed by...
Superficial.
Okay.
If by any other name.
Okay.
When we're asking about the Secretary General, is because we're seeing that the younger leaders of ODM seem to be saying something.
Yeah.
And they are engaging in a different way.
Orengo is
Sifuna, Sifuna, if you think about Mbakasi...
And by the way, some of us are not that old.
I'm saying the younger.
All right.
And Babu Owino and others. Sifuna is actually even, going around with another group of parliamentarians and calling themselves Kenya Moja.
Yeah.
Right?
And he did that from a while back.
Yes, they've been doing that.
Even before Baba's passing.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the position of, the leadership of ODM on their Secretary General?
In short,
we have
Edwin Sifuna.
No. We have never put him as an agenda. And we have never discussed an individual as an agenda. And what I'd love, I mean, I know it's juicy. I know it's really good. It's juicy out there to be told that, people love this kind of stories. I mean, the question that you asked me before, because it's juicy. It's juicy out there for you.
Which question?
When you told me about me silencing people, it's because people feel that
that's not for juiciness. That is purely for accountability purposes and clarity, and for accountability. That is not for gossip or for...
Okay, but I mean, if today someone came to me and I had a dissenting voice, and then the headlines, of course, would be like... one of the deputy party leaders has got a different voice because it's juicy. Will we 100% be talking about the same thing in the same manner? It will never happen. The way the vibrancy of the party is, it's literally impossible. Literally impossible for all of us, because it's who we are. It's what we were taught. It's how we were taught. In one of Baba's speeches, you heard him say that wewe una yako ya kusema na huyu ana yake ya kusema. And one of the places where he actually met with Gachagua, if you recall what he said, I think it was a burial, where he said that you might not like what I'm saying, but just listen to me. All right? So someone might not like what it is that I say, but just listen to me. The fact that you can actually protect my right to say it, despite not liking what I say, is what ODM is.
Speaks a lot to, again, the social democracy and the Orange Democratic Movement. I'm thinking through representation of the people. The last 2 years have been incredibly tough on Kenyans, from the economy to the human rights abuses, to just sometimes even a general sense of despair. So then, as far as representing people goes, I really find it hard, to fathom this ODM that is in broad-based. And I'm saying that knowing very well the reasoning behind the broad-based that you've given us, and that Baba had struggled to explain so many times before, but staying in it again, and even thinking of potential coalitions, pre-election coalitions, still has the same issues are still, at the very core of what is bothering Kenya. Like that will likely not change.
Do you know the difference? The difference between us when we were in perceived to be, well, are we still a party that is an opposition party? Yes, because we don't have a coalition. But I'll tell you the difference. The difference between ODM is when we were talking and we were raising voices, it was always on issues. When we talked about electoral reforms, when we talked about so many of these other issues that are out there, the cost of living, when we talked about devolution having to work and everything, look at the ones who are calling themselves the opposition now. Please
what are
tell
their
me,
issues?
yes, thank you. What are the issues that they have raised?
Same.
You know, and you see, I think what they need to do, those who know are going to be in the opposition, they need to go through, maybe, if for a better word, I think we have the art of being in the opposition, the playbook of being in the opposition. You know, that when you go to parliament, raise issues, not individuality. When you're out there on public platform, raise issues, not on based on individuality. So I hope they learn, because if this is the trend that is there, the way whatever it is that they stand up, all it is just talk about people, even in death. Then Kenya is going to be in a big problem. We're not going to have an opposition because, like I said, we're not going to be in the opposition.
So clearly, you are not reading from the same script with the United Opposition leadership, because you think they are not aligned. You have not even mentioned Okiya Omtata or Dr. Reuben Kigame or
I respect them.
David Maraga. Who
I respect every one of them. I know them all individually. And I'm sure that the respect that I have for them is respect that they accord to me as well, as an individual.
So since William Ruto is already president, and of course he'll be going for a second term in 2027, and you are likely to enter into a coalition agreement with him, so you're likely then to maybe...
Where did you get that from?
Donate, you're likely, I said.
Well, I mean, but I mean, you know, a likelihood could be something. I mean,
I have looked at the possibilities of a pre-election agreement.
Are you
Governor?
Do you have some?
We are working
some
sequentially
issues?
here. Sequentially, right? What are the current formations politically preparing for the next election?
Okay,
we have said united opposition. You have, in many ways,
who's the united position? You basically mean
Wiper, PLP,
yes.
DCP,
DAPK, all
right?
of them. Right?
And those are the ones you're saying, those people now, right?
Okay.
You have mentioned the other side, Maraga, Kigame, Okiya Omtata.
Okay.
You have not mentioned them. You are currently in a very good relation with UDA and Kenya Kwanza. So the likelihood of a pre-election coalition that ODM enters into is closer to Kenya Kwanza than the other two.
Okay.
And from the president's
they already
own
have
words,
a candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how
so
physics
what will you want?
Okay, let me just tell you.
And briefly, because we have to get to Mombasa in just in a very short time. But yes.
Okay.
Go on, maybe in 2 minutes.
I think you're looking at things based on if we live in a scenario where we're all in a Barbie situation, where everything is going to remain constant, you know, everything is picture perfect and all. Politics in this country is so vibrant. I said this when we were on the break. Kibaki never knew he was going to be the president until six months before the elections is when he was actually declared that he was going to be the president. Politics in this country is so vibrant, is so vibrant. One thing I've learned, never look down on someone and say that their chances are zero. And never feel too comfortable when you're up there. Because anything can happen in this country.
Okay. So the question then, if Kenya Kwanza, which has a candidate called William Ruto, approached ODM and said, we'd like ODM to give us a running mate. So we get into this election together to guarantee that should we win, ODM is in government.
You're asking,
we work together towards winning.
Would
Abdullswamad be the candidate?
To be the deputy president?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable where I am.
Would Gladys Wanga be the candidate?
I don't know about Gladys, whether she's comfortable being the governor of Homa Bay.
Would you propose her name?
Would I propose Gladys to be the deputy president? I mean, before even proposing Gladys to be the deputy president, first of all, I'd have a sit down with her and ask, are you interested in being the deputy president? You know, there are many people. I mean, this is a party that the current crop of leaders who are there are so many people who can be able to.
If she said, yeah, I'm comfortable.
If she said that she's very comfortable, we'll bring it to the Central Committee and do exactly what it is that we were taught to do. Discuss it internally first and not commit the party before anything else. We will discuss it internally, fathom all the options that are there, weigh it out, ask ourselves, is there someone else who'd make equally a deputy president, you know, in the cost? Maybe they'll say, why don't we bring on board Hassan Alijo? So Luo Nyanza would say, why don't we bring in Gladys? So probably, I don't know, say, why not Orengo? Probably, why not Simba Arati? Why not Northeastern? And we say that, you know, we have Jir, who has been governor long enough. Why not him to be the deputy president? And then options would be weighed out. Baba believed that should we have this, should we have that, should we have this? And then numbers would have to play out. How many numbers is this one bringing on board, and what are the values that this person brings on board, and everything else. So there's many issues that are going to be there.
What I'm hearing is that for the first time,
but Gladys has not told me that she's interested. You mentioned Gladys by name, and I just want to make it very, very clear.
No, I was just going down the list. I started with the deputy party leader, Abdullswamad. He said he's comfortable. So I went to the chairperson of the party. Well, for the first time since the party was formed,
she's not the vice. She's the chair.
Yes, she's the chair. Since ODM was formed 20 years ago, this would be the first time that ODM goes into an election, not as the lead in a presidential ticket.
True. If at all, it is a decision that the party will make. If that is the decision, I'm repeating again. If that is going to be the decision that we will be able to make,
would you push for such a decision?
It is not an issue of comfort. It is an issue of practicality. Are we practical enough to have a candidate? You know, even when Baba was alive, we had candidates who stood up and said that they have the muscle, and they have the charisma, and they have what it takes to be the president of this country. I think it was at one point, those who took the nomination forms, there was Baba, and I think Hassan Alijo, and I think Oparanya as well took forms to be president. So you never know. This time round, we might have people who say that, you know what, we want to step down from our cabinet secretary positions, and we want to be flag bearers for ODM. It'll come to us. We will have to bear the weight of making that decision as a central committee. It goes to the National Executive Committee, and we take it to the National Delegates Conference, which is the final body that makes those particular decisions. And the decisions will end up being made.
Okay.
But right now, we do not have a leadership crisis. Right now, we have an agenda at hand. Right now, our agenda is not about being divided, but about being focused on what is at hand.
Right. Giving you a free idea. ODM 100, you know? Raila, Baba at 80, ODM at 20.
Right.
Right. We still have matters, Mombasa County, Eric. How do we proceed? Because I think we need to answer a few questions regarding Mombasa County itself. And the question then begins with like the waste management issue. And I know Eric had alluded to it over the break. What is happening as far as waste management in Mombasa? And you said it's not a scandal that's brewing, it's a confusion that's happening.
I think, let me just rephrase what exactly happened. About a year ago, first of all, when immediately I took over office, I think within 3 months after taking over office, we advertised for waste to energy. We did not get a decent response. Nothing came up. We advertised again the costings were going to be. Basically, converting waste to energy is extremely expensive. So what that would have meant is that the county government would have to chip in a considerable amount.
Okay.
Then came the issues of whether this has been able to work in other parts, especially Africa, because you need to be able to look at what is the calorific density of that waste. Is it something that can be converted? Coincidentally, about a year or so ago, about 7 governors went to Ghana. And we were actually invited to go and have a look at something that is being done in Ghana. And when we traveled, I think it was 7 of us. Yeah, I believe it was 7 of us. When we went there, and what we saw, what I saw basically, was something that should actually be able to work. But what I did do, I said, I'm not going to do anything that is going to be direct procurement.
Okay.
What we did do is we advertised for 3 possibilities. One, no one is going to deny that we have a sewer problem. You know, we have one sewer treatment plant that has been dead for 33 years. We have another sewer treatment plant that has been dead for 13 years. Then we have a system that is simply not working. Majority of the areas in Mombasa do not have a sewer line. From the whole of Chuda, the whole line which goes to all the beach hotels, there's no sewer line. It's sewer that is picked by trucks and is meant to go to the sewer treatment plants. Those sewer treatment plants have not even, they don't exist.
So where does the waste go?
Thank you. And that's why leadership, you have to come up with a solution.
Yeah.
These solutions don't cost 10 shillings or 20 shillings or 30 shillings. They cost billions. Have we put in money? No, we've put in 0. This is one of the contracts that we're yet to sign, because as the water company, we need to sort its leadership first of all. It's a whole long story about a court case and everything. So we need to be able to make sure that those who are going to sign that are substantive office holders. Then the second one, you recall what happened in Lebanon when there was a whole explosion, because there was hazardous waste that was lying for a very long time. Mombasa has no hazardous treatment plant. We're a county that has a port. We're a county that has, we're literally, we've got oil passing through us. You've got, you know, all these things that are going through there. You've got the pipeline, you've got people who are importing all sorts of cargo that pass through there. And what I did is we passed this through all the stakeholders, and all the stakeholders agreed. So for this particular one is we're saying that someone who has the expertise, they came, so they're building. We're not investing a single shilling as a county government of Mombasa. We're not paying a single shilling. For this particular one, for hazardous waste, is the one who brings the hazardous waste, and we have to destroy it based on international standards. Is they're the ones who are going to bear the cost.
Who's the people bringing in the waste?
Naturally, the people who are bringing in the waste, and then the county government of Mombasa gets a decent amount from that. Then the third one now is the normal waste, the newspaper, everything else, you know, what it is that you... The concept that we have is very simple. These guys are bringing in 200.
I'm afraid we are really, really out of time. I think this one we need to have a separate conversation.
But all in all, I just want to make it very, very clear that no money has been spent as a county government of Mombasa. We're not paying any amount of money.
No contract has been signed yet.
No, we have signed contracts. We have signed contracts. The contracts are actually in such a way that someone else invests, and then we pay for that service in a certain way.
Per use or something.
Per use, exactly. We don't have the kind of billions to be able to invest at a goal. We need to be smart. We can't come up with...
In fact, to let a mic ground Mombasa,
we should.
We discuss this with the residents of Mombasa.
We should.
So we're here because we've seen a lot of conversation on social media.
Which is good.
So we should have this. We bring the mic ground, engage with the people of Mombasa, engage with the county leadership of Mombasa to understand what's happening. But thank you for joining us.
And thank you very much.
Sharif
We
Nassir,
should do this again.
Governor of Mombasa, Deputy Party Leader, ODM, has been our guest. In the next hour, we start talking about Tanzania's election. Tanzania goes into a general election for president, for members of parliament, and for ward representatives. What's going on there? Keep it here for that.